At the start of the film, we're introduced to a couple who are soon to be married. Deeply in love, they are traveling through a desert, enjoying each other's company along the way. Sarah is headed to see her father, who is unwell, and Michael, her fiancé, accompanies her on the journey. While driving, they suddenly feel a jolt, as if something has hit their car. Michael steps out to inspect the vehicle. He checks all sides but finds no damage. There's not a scratch and no one else is around. It's completely empty. As Sarah goes to check the back of the car, her foot slips and she falls. She notices something odd, a piece of frozen ice lying on the ground. In the middle of a blazing desert, during harsh summer heat, it seems impossible for ice to be there. Still, they brush it off and continue on their way. As they drive further, they notice a black car following them. Michael slows down to let it pass, but the black car stays behind them. Soon, they spot a lone hotel in the middle of the desert and decide to stop there. Strangely, the moment they pull in, the black car drives off ahead. The area around the hotel is desolate. Sarah jokes with Michael about his fast driving, warning him that one day his reckless habits could get them killed. They check their phones, no signal. With no other option, they enter the hotel. Inside, it's nearly empty, except for an elderly couple. The hotel feels abandoned. The two sit at a table, and it's then that Michael drops a bombshell. He admits he isn't ready to marry her. Sarah is disappointed and accuses him of running from responsibilities. She insists they should just go ahead and get married. A waitress arrives, takes their order, and leaves. Sarah notices the hotel manager persistently telling the old couple to leave the premises. The atmosphere feels off. The waitress returns, serving a drink to Sarah and coffee to Michael. She hands them 2 coins and tells them they can use the coins for any service in the hotel. Michael uses one to play some music in hopes of lifting Sarah's mood. Suddenly, that same black car appears again, now parked right outside the hotel. It's just sitting there, waiting. The strange chain of events unsettles them. First the mysterious car, and now this eerie hotel. Michael excuses himself to go to the restroom. Meanwhile, Sarah gets their food packed. Another waiter arrives to hand over the food, and Sarah momentarily sees her father in him. Moved by the thought that her dad might be working at this age, she tips the waiter generously. The couple leaves the hotel. This time, Sarah takes the wheel since Michael had been driving too fast earlier. But as they continue, something slams into their car once again. Looking around, they realize they've somehow returned to the same road they had already traveled. Confused and alarmed, they can't understand how they've looped back. Back at the hotel, the 2 waitresses talk to the manager. They remark that Sarah and Michael seem like good people. The manager responds grimly, saying their fate is no longer in his hands. Only the future can reveal what lies ahead. Curiously, everyone at the hotel seems to know Sarah and Michael, even though this is supposedly their first visit. Clearly, something strange is unfolding. We're then shown another girl sitting inside the hotel. She complains about doing the same work every day, suggesting that she, too, may be stuck in a cycle. Meanwhile, Sarah and Michael find themselves repeatedly returning to the same place, suggesting they might be trapped in a time loop. Sarah points this out to Michael, even noting that time itself seems to have stopped. He begins to suspect the same. Once again, the black car appears, this time right in front of them. Sarah decides to confront the situation and walks toward the vehicle to see who's been following them. As the window rolls down, she sees the driver's face, and it's terrifying. Horrified, she sprints back to their car in tears. Michael asks what she saw, but Sarah struggles to describe it, saying only that the face was disturbingly inhuman. Soon after, the black car starts chasing them again, attempting to ram into their vehicle. Sarah speeds up to escape, and somehow ends up near the hotel once more. She rushes inside and asks for a phone booth, then quickly calls the police to report the stalking vehicle. The officer on the line listens, but informs her that their location is too remote for immediate help. They are told to remain where they are until assistance arrives. What Sarah doesn't realize is that the person on the other end of the call, the officer she just spoke with, is none other than the hotel manager himself. Later, Michael confronts the manager directly. He demands to know why the black car is following them and how they keep circling back to the same spot. The manager simply replies that perhaps they took a wrong turn. The roads around here are like a maze, he explains, which is why they keep ending up back at the hotel. Sarah soon returns and tells Michael that she's spoken with the police. They said it would take time to reach them, so they've been asked to stay at the hotel until help arrives. The manager, overhearing this, smiles calmly and says there's no problem. They're welcome to stay. He even offers them a comfortable room. But something feels off. We realize this was part of the manager's plan all along. It was him on the phone pretending to be the police, just to keep them there. With no other choice, Sarah and Michael stay the night. Sarah heads to the counter and asks the waitress for a drink. But the waitress oddly replies, "You can only drink alcohol once in our hotel." Just then, A girl sitting nearby offers her bottle to Sarah, saying, "Take it, I'm leaving anyway." Sarah tries to pay her, but the girl simply says, "Money doesn't matter to me anymore," which deeply confuses Sarah. A moment later, the manager appears, gently calling the girl away. As he leads her off, he tells Sarah and Michael not to mind her. She's not mentally well. He reassures them, brushing off any suspicion. But something about the girl's expression and the manager's demeanor doesn't sit right. Sarah then tries to call her father. Strangely, while she can hear his voice on the other end, he can't hear her. It's as if her voice is lost. Meanwhile, that same girl from earlier is being led into a dark room by the manager. She's crying, begging not to go in. But the manager calmly tells her, "You chose this path." Then, with a cold hand, he pushes her into the darkness and locks the door. Back in the hotel lounge, a waiter quietly approaches Sarah and Michael. He warns them to be careful before going to their room. Without explaining, he slips them a folded piece of paper. But before they can open it, the manager swoops in, picks it up, and crumples it. The paper had just one chilling word: run. The manager then escorts them to their room. On the way, Sarah questions him again about the black car that's been following them. He doesn't respond, acting as if he didn't even hear her. But then he slips up, saying her name. Sarah freezes. She never told him her name. How does he know it? As he opens the door to their room, Sarah notices something bizarre. A thin layer of snow on the door, the same icy substance they'd seen in the desert, back when something first hit their car. Suddenly, everything clicks. Sarah knows something is terribly wrong. She turns to Michael and begs him to leave immediately. The manager, still smiling, insists they stay. "You need rest. Why make this harder on yourselves? That only makes things worse." Sensing danger, Sarah and Michael run. The waiters in the background plead with the manager, saying, "They're good people. We should help them." But the manager shakes his head solemnly. "It's out of our hands now. Let them go, they'll be back." Sure enough, while driving away again, Sarah and Michael encounter the same mysterious man in the black coat and hat, the driver of the black car. No matter which way they turn, he's always there. The couple begins to understand. They're trapped, and the manager is a part of this terrifying web. Suddenly, their car crashes again. But this time, they don't panic. They continue forward. Once again, the black car begins chasing them. This time, Michael tries a different approach. He drives in reverse, hoping it will break whatever loop they're caught in. But the attempt fails. Now desperate, they abandon the car and start walking through the desert on foot. After a short distance, they come across the wreckage of a vehicle. As they approach, their hearts stop. It's their car. Inside, they see two lifeless bodies, their own. Shocked and terrified, they run away, sobbing. They return to their original car, only to find themselves back at the same spot once again. No matter what they do, they always return to the hotel. This time, Sarah directly confronts the manager and demands answers. "Where are we? What is this place?" The manager finally reveals the truth. He explains that this place is not part of the living world. It exists between two realms, between life and death. Everyone who comes here has recently passed on, but their final fate hasn't been decided yet. Sarah and Michael, he says, were in a car accident, and they're both clinging to life. The room he was urging them to enter, that was not just a hotel room. It was the door to the afterlife. All the strange signs, the looping roads, the black car, the freezing ice in the desert, it all makes sense now. The crash they experienced at the start of the film wasn't just a bump. That was the moment they died, or rather, started dying. Ever since, they've been trapped in this in-between space. The girl the manager pushed into the dark room? She had died in the real world, and now her soul was being sent to the next realm. That's the job of this place, to guide souls to the afterlife once it's clear they can't return. And the black car? It represented death, constantly following them, waiting to take them. The manager gently tells Sarah, "You can't survive in the real world anymore. Stop resisting. Just go to the room where souls go after death." But Sarah pleads with him, "I want to live. I have a reason. I'm going to be a mother. I need to live for my child." The manager, however, gives her a hard truth. Only one of them can survive. Faced with this choice, Sarah makes the heartbreaking decision to sacrifice Michael. He had refused to marry her, had no attachment to life anymore, and Sarah knew she had a future to protect. She tearfully says goodbye to him, whispering, "You have to give your life for our child. Our journey ends here, Michael. Please let me go on." Michael is led into the dark room. Back in the real world, we see a miracle. Sarah wakes up, gasping for breath. She's alive. But Michael is gone, his body lifeless. He gave up his life so she could live. And with that, the story comes to an end. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.